All right, I'm back. Finally, haven't had much time to work on the truck in the last I don't know, what, a week or so. But I have a little bit of time tonight, so I'm gonna do a little bit of work on it. Um, I had to go spend more money. The one thing I didn't want to do is spend more money, and yet I had to go spend some more money. So I had to get a couple of little guys here. I picked up the new Pitman arm. This is the old one. I don't know if you can tell, but just the diameter of the spline is just a little bit bigger on the powered version of the Pitman arm. I also had to go get the new rag joint. Here's the old one and the new one again. You can kind of tell as well that the rag joint, I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell on the camera, but it's just a little bit larger diameter there for the power steering version. Um, and all this one is really old and crusty. I was really impressed with how in good shape the rubber center is. It's still pretty flexible. It's not broken up, so really impressed with that at least. But just since it's not the right size, I'm gonna have to get a new one fit in. So I'm about ready to get that started. I also had to go pick up some more bolts for the power steering gearbox. Since it doesn't have that little dish in the frame, as I talked about before, it's got to sit out a little bit farther. So Vince recommended to do the washer or like a step instead of trying to beat a dent into the frame. So I bought one that was just about about a quarter inch longer than the factory ones, and a couple of grade 8 washers on these grade 8 bolts. So I'm going to put those on, and hopefully that's just enough to get it out away from the frame. So I'm going to start assembling everything, and then we'll check it out. All right, so let's see if we can get this rag joint popped on here on the new one. Oh man, the thing's heavy. All right, so we got our jam nut on this guy. And I'm also going to take off these guys here. This will go on to the new. I did read somewhere somebody said these bolts didn't fit the old plate on the steering column, so some guys have had to reuse the old one. So we'll see once we get up under there. We'll see what happens. So there's like a flat spot, and you just kind of line it up. Would you look at that? Almost like I knew what I was doing. Can't believe it. Looks pretty good. And our jam nut is in the right. Looks like it needs to come out just a little bit. Get that in the right spot. About there. Brandy's out there battling with a bug or something. She's doing some yard work. All right, so just get a bunch of that with my fingers like so. So I know the other thing that we need to do with it is we need to get it centered. Let me get this old one out of here. It's kind of easier to spin it now that we have the rag joint on it. which I think I kind of already had it centered, but I do want to double check. So I think what I need to do is just basically go all the way to one end, which seems right there. Maybe I'll take a scribe. Let's see. And I read that sometimes there's little marks on there. I don't know if it's that little divot. So if I turn all the way this way, I do see one little tiny baby mark right there, which lines up with that. So let's just count how many turns we go from lock to lock. So let's see, a half, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, almost 3.5. So like right around there. So we go back half, 1.5. That should be pretty close to center. It was slightly under. I could maybe just bring her back a little bit, but let's look here. So that's our start. Under stop. And there's just no marks on there necessarily show me like where that spline is going, but I think these wide spline needs to be pointed straight once it's done. So we can kind of see where we're at. Half, 1.5. Slightly under, so if we just gave her a little bit under, that spline right there seems to be pointed perfectly straight almost, at least from the eyeball. At least eyeballing it is. So it seems like that's how we're going to do it. So I might have to put on just my nut. I don't know if I can get the lock washer on there too. Kind of start getting that pressed on. But I don't want to do it yet just in case it doesn't quite fit. So I'm going to kind of just get it started and then see what happens under the truck. Daddy, you going to help me with my truck today? All right, here we go. So this is how everything is looking so far. I'm going to try and get everything put back together. Vince had asked about the collapsible steering. I'm not really sure, but I think up there's like supposed to be a couple of dimples with like a plastic insert, supposedly, that will, in the event of a crash, it's supposed to like break those off and then collapse upon itself. So I guess there's only one way I'll ever find that out for sure, and let's hope I never find out. Let's see what happens. Got some bolts here. Try not to drop this thing on my head, crack it like a watermelon, because it is quite heavy. This might be a two-person job, because this thing, I'm not real sure I'm going to hold it up there and get these bolts in. Because like I said, it is really heavy and very awkward. Oh. And I still don't have a lot of strength in my other arm. My right arm. Alrighty. So I clearly did something wrong. Whoop, lost a washer. Yeah, I lost all my bolts and washers. Puppies were 75 cents a piece. Gotta find them all. Pokemon, but for expensive auto parts. I don't know. Why would anybody do this for a living? This seems crazy. Yep, I gotta take off like the tiniest itty bitty amount. But I think I'm gonna need all three washers. I'm hitting right. I don't know. Let's see if you can see that. I'm hitting right there. There's like just a little tiny piece. I just gotta zap that off real quick. And it's just barely tapping it, but it is. But I might have it up enough just to mock it up and see if I can get it together like this. Like if I put it on there without the pitman arm, if I can still get the pitman arm, if it lines up, steering lines up. Yeah, check it out. Are you gonna help? What do you know about power steering? Anything? Power steering? Or maybe Teddy? Hey, what's a rag joint? What's a rag joint?